Fake news, more lies, and scandal. Now, I keep telling you guys I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. I have no clue why some of you guys choose to waste my time in boxing. I tell you, I'm a businessman. You know that because you find me at my places of business, and that's the reality of it. I see conversations being had. Some people sent me DMs asking what Tank's next fight is, speculating Tank next fight, and a name keeps popping up. Jose El Rayo Valenzuela, who fought just recently on the Crawford-Madrimov card. So there's rumors abound that Tank has November 2nd earmarked, and people, they choose to waste my time. I tell you guys all the time, I'm the best in the business. If I am not talking about it or making videos about it, I know what goes on in my sport. I am boxing. So if I haven't made a video about it, there's usually a reason. But per usual, if enough people reach out and have questions, it is my job to set the stage. So let's talk about Tank versus Rayo. There's rumors going on that they could fight November 2nd. I'm calling cap. Reason being, let's get the headphones. Diego Pacheco was just fighting yesterday, and for his fight week, Robert Garcia was there. We will take a listen to what Robert Garcia said, who works with Jose Valenzuela, yesterday. Like literally yesterday, right? And he was asked this very question. So I don't understand why people on X and Twitter, or YouTube, or whatever are still bringing this up, when to me, if the rumor had legs, it was clarified by Robert Garcia. Roll the clip.
A lot of rumors are, Tank and Rayo at the end of the year. I know, people were talking about the Pitbull rematch. Obviously, Rayo, messed up those plans for those people. But, I mean, Rayo's right there on the spot. Have you heard anything about a Tank Rayo fight?
We've heard it. We've heard it all over. People have been approaching us. But Rayo's not planning on fighting this year anymore.
Whoa, yo, hold up. Not me, not Marshall. I show you Marshall. Robert Garcia, when deliberately asked about Gervonta Tank Davis versus 140-pound champion Jose El Rayo Valenzuela, he said, yeah, I heard people talking about it in rumblings and, things like that, rumors basically. But Rayo is not planning on fighting anymore in 2024. Anymore in 2024. Smash the like button.
We've heard it all over. People have been approaching us, but Rayo's not planning on fighting this year anymore. He's actually enjoying his victory, his world champion, and he was in camp for 4 months, a little over 4 months. So he needs some time off. I think if that fight does happen, it could be Tank's next fight sometime in February or March.
So he's saying they're down, but it could be February, March, aka 2025.
Do it. We'd be more than happy to do it.
Listen again.
And he was in camp for 4 months.
He was in camp for a little over 4 months. So basically he had a long camp before the Pitbull Cruz fight, and he trained his butt off, pulled the upset against Pitbull Cruz. So he says my fighter needs time off. He want to spend the holidays with his family.
Months, so he needs some time off. I think if that fight does happen, it could be Tank's next fight sometime in February or March. We could do it. We'd be more than happy to do it. Obviously, Pitbull has to step aside and they have to work it out with Pitbull. Maybe Al Heyman or something. Maybe they could convince him. I'm not sure about that, but we have a rematch clause. But if people step aside, then we'll be more than happy to fight Tank. But it won't happen in November or December of this year.
It won't happen in November, December of this year.
It could happen sometime next year. We're more than ready to do that.
Right.
I'm going to play it again.
But it won't happen in November or December of this year. It could happen sometime next year. We're more than ready to do that.
Right.
It won't happen in November or December of this year, 2024. But it could happen next year sometime. And he also said there's a rematch clause for Pitbull for the Rayo fight. So Rayo pulled the upset. Pitbull, he's basically saying they would have to organize and like, you know, appease Pitbull or whatever because Pitbull has a rematch clause. So again, I don't understand why you guys keep wasting my time. If your boy, the best in the business, is not talking about it, there's usually a reason. I know everything that's going on in my sport because it's my job to know. Listen, I see fans opening the dialogue and conversations. I seen people like ripping Tank to shreds, saying, "Oh, why would he fight El Rayo? This is a horrible fight." You have people projecting pay-per-view numbers for a fight that never was announced. Boxing is looking washed. Join Ego's army if you want to know what's going on in boxing. But it really looks watered down when you got fans who are picking sides and typing in comment sections about Tank's fight that was never announced to be his fight. Oh, why is Tank fighting El Rayo? This is a sucky fight and things like that. Why do you have an opinion on something that PBC, who works with Tank and Rayo, never even told you was next? So I get it. Gervonta Davis is the face of boxing. So people are going to always mention his name for clicks, for clickbait, for viewership, engagement farming. But it's just a waste of time. Tank is a boss. He has his team. He works with Al Heyman. Even if November 2nd is slated for Tank Davis, then ultimately, let's wait for Gervonta Davis to announce his next move. This has been going on for so long. And it's funny because a lot of the Haniacs and like people that you know that like Shakur Stevenson and they love Devin Haney and their Haniacs, things like that, be the main culprits of people who always talk about Tank. And it just doesn't make sense. Oh, Tank needs to fight someone. Tank. Why everyone care about Tank? Let the man live. Let the man do. He's the most exciting in boxing. He's giving you the performances. It's not like Devin Haney and he getting hooked up by Ryan Garcia's left hook and stuff like that, and it was an underwhelming performance. Tank keeps delivering. And you have people who keep pushing fake fights on Gervonta Davis that were never announced. I remember people were saying Tank was going to fight Abner Mares years after their fight fell apart because Abner Mares had an eye injury. And I'm like, where is this even coming from? I know people attached to many of these fighters' camps and stuff. And just because I'm not a source guy where I just break a bunch of news. I know a lot of what's going on behind the scenes in boxing, you know, and I don't care. Like, I'm Boxing Ego. I don't have to break the news in order to get views. That's just what it is. So for me, people have linked his name to Abner Mares in the past, said he was fighting Ricky Hatton's son, Campbell Hatton, guessing that he was fighting Pitbull Cruz. And then Pitbull Cruz fights El Rayo. Now they're saying he's fighting El Rayo in November. This is a rumor. And then you have, shout out to KO Artist Sports, my dude. He interviews Robert Garcia, who works with El Rayo. And he's saying out the horse's mouth, Rayo needs time off. He's not fighting anybody in October, November, December. He's not coming back this year. So I don't even understand how is anything a rumor if it gets deaded? Like, the internet is a wonderful place for information, but it's also a wonderful place for misinformation and disinformation, because depending on what you search and what you're looking up, you technically can find it. You come to my channel, you get the truth, right? You guys can search up the same interview that I just played for you where Robert Garcia says, my fighter needs time off. He's not coming back. Finally, Ego final thoughts. I don't care who Tank fights next because Lomachenko pulled out because he's not in the mood. And then now you have a situation where El Rayo's team saying, yeah, we'll fight him in the future, but just not next because we need time off. So Tank keeps knocking people out. Robert Garcia just did interviews saying Tank is unbeatable and he's very hard to beat and he's like a stud, basically. And Tank can't get no work. Shakur, he fighting Joe Coronavirus or whatever dude's name is on somebody undercard on pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Devin Haney, he's just been out the loop. We don't know what he's doing, and he's coming off of a bad performance with Ryan Garcia, right? So I don't care who Tank fights. He's earned that. He's been fighting ranked people. He's been fighting undefeated fighters, and he doesn't seem to be able to have people chomping at the bit, and he's the money guy, right? Rayo needs more time, can't come back that soon, even though Tank fought Frank Martin recently, and Rayo just recently fought Pitbull Cruz. Plus, there's the rematch clause with Pitbull that they have to scale and get over. So we'll see. I'll wait for Tank to say it. I'm not with the lies and fake news in boxing. It's not that serious. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, but stop asking me about stuff that I'm not reporting about because there's usually a reason. Checkmate.